Wednesday morning, everybody. I'm Dave Furtado.
And I'm meteorologist Jefferson Donovan.
Boy, what a whirlwind this week has been.
Don't take us back in time.
Yeah, no, we want to keep going. Well, I don't know. Maybe we can go back to before the tariffs. Anyway, let's jump right over to weather here because temperatures are not too shabby. Still kind of a mild start. Are we expecting to see those temperatures get a little bit warmer than average or around that average temp?
Right around average today, maybe a little bit warmer than yesterday, though. And then tomorrow is going to be even warmer than today. Something to look forward to. Now, as we take a look outside at Yakima, there's really no concerns. Yesterday, I certainly, if you joined us at all yesterday morning, I was quite convinced that we were going to be facing widespread showers across our region yesterday, and that really didn't verify. Most of us actually did stay dry, and we are staying dry this morning. Now in Yakima, along with the dry weather, there are some clouds that are starting to move into the area. I already know that, but temperatures for the time being are in the upper 20s with mostly clear skies. Here's a look at your weather headlines today and going forward. There is going to be a mixture of clouds and sunshine on this Wednesday for pretty much everybody. Tomorrow there will be mostly cloudy skies, but we will stay mostly dry, and I've already mentioned it, we will be warm on Thursday. By Thursday evening, however, we are going to be faced with the possibility of more rain showers. We'll talk about all three of these weather headlines in more depth coming up.
Thanks, Jefferson. We begin this morning in the Tri-Cities. A man is facing a life in prison sentence if convicted on sex trafficking and child porn charges, along with other serious charges. Federal prosecutors say a 34-year-old faces 11 counts in all. He'll be back in court later this week, and while specifics of the case have not been released, if you have any information about it, you're encouraged to reach out to the Richland Police Department. More than a dozen dogs were seized from a Benton County property. Deputies say the noise led them there, and the number of dogs found could lead to charges. On Saturday, deputies with the Benton County Sheriff's Office executed a search warrant at a property in the Benton City area as part of an investigation into animal cruelty and the possible violation of dog breeding laws. 13 dogs were found, and these are not those dogs, but they are at this shelter. We were not allowed to get video of them while the investigation is pending. Under state law, there are certain conditions that need to be met if you have more than 10.
This actually came from a noise complaint that somebody had over the barking dogs, which then led to the amount of barking dogs, also some witnessing of the treatment of the dogs. And so I think there may have even been some videos that the deputies were looking at as far as how the dogs were being treated or handled and those types of things.
Now, the dogs are currently being held at the Benton County Canine Shelter and will receive a medical evaluation by a veterinarian in the coming days to further the investigation. Leaders are looking into a theft from the Mapton School District. They say two people stole from the Career and Technical Building Sunday morning. According to the MSD Facebook page, the burglars stole welding equipment and tools. The post says the equipment was purchased through taxpayer funds and provides hands-on learning experiences for students. If you have any information about the people or the events of Sunday morning, the district urges you to contact their office. And switching gears this morning, apart from Senator Cantwell's remarks on the tariff, Senator Murray held a press call Tuesday with Washington State Department heads expressing their concerns. KMA's Mallory Aldrich reports others have responded to President Trump's Liberation Day tariffs and how they will impact the evergreen state. Take a look.
Last week, President Trump put tariffs on U.S. exports for all countries, and Senator Murray is voicing her concerns on the tariffs, claiming they will hurt many industries and consumers in Washington state.
Now, that extra tax might not matter much to billionaires like Trump and Elon Musk, who do not even shop for themselves or even think about basic necessities, but you can bet it is going to matter to regular people in Washington state.
Murray explained that as one of the most trade-dependent states in the country, Washington stands to lose the most from the tariffs. 2 in 5 jobs in our state exist because of international trade. That is a full 40% of jobs in our state. Farmers, fishers, producers in our state rely heavily on trade with Canada and with Mexico. And Trump's trade war has already been an especially deep cut for them. Now they are about to get hammered even more. Washington state officials are worried on how the tariffs would affect Washington's major industries.
These are disruptive. They disrupt people's lives. They disrupt their jobs. They disrupt industries like Boeing, our shipping terminals, our farmers, our tech companies. All of this is on the line.
And exports are critical for Washington agriculture. The uncertainty around the tariffs, the retaliatory tariffs, the uncompetitive pricing the lost market share that will result, and the damage to our trade partners' relationships is a very real concern for Washington agriculture exporters.
Although Representative Dan Newhouse claims that historically when other countries implement retaliatory tariffs, they are mostly focused on agricultural products, but that doesn't mean that there shouldn't be a level playing field.
So that is a great goal, but we also don't want to be unfairly treated by other countries that make our products unnecessarily expensive and reduce the amount of exports that we can benefit from. So that there's certainly it's just kind of a two-edged sword. I think you use that term. Definitely there's some plus sides, but there's also some things we need to watch and be careful for.
Reporting for Action News, I'm Mallory Aldrich.
Mallory Aldrich, thank you. And although it faces a promise of a veto, a bill co-authored by Senator Marie Cantwell aiming to increase Congress's role in international trade deals continues to get bipartisan support. There are now 7 Republican senators, including co-author Chuck Grassley, supporting a measure that would require the president to get congressional approval before implementing tariffs. Congress would also be able to end tariffs under this bill.
I worry that this trust issue, because I have a different worldview, that we should be building alliances as a way to counter China, that the alliance building process now will become harder, and people are going to wonder, well, is the United States going to pull another fast one again and just wreak havoc?
I think what we can't do is wait. We have had many times in past decades when we have had real robust trade disputes with our partners. Japan in the 80s and early 90s over cars, semiconductors, and they ended reshoring a lot of those factories here. And it didn't make us less of a security partner to Japan. I think we can have these conversations like friends do.
Even if the bill makes it through both the Senate and House, President Trump has said he would veto it. It would take a 2/3 majority vote in both the Senate and House to overturn a presidential veto. Over to Sunnyside, where city leaders are hosting a community forum today to discuss the possibility of allowing retail cannabis sales within city limits. The forum will be at the community center between noon and 6 p.m. It'll give citizens, business owners, and stakeholders a chance to share their thoughts, concerns, and ask questions about cannabis sales within their community. For more information on the meeting, head over to our website, kimatv.com. And finally, Tuesday, the Tri-Cities Cancer Center Foundation says more than $500,000 will be used to buy equipment and support current Tri-Cities cancer patients. That includes the purchase of a new $100,000 mammography machine that will help to better detect breast cancer. The funds will also be used to help cover the steep costs associated with cancer treatment.
The good news is people are living longer with cancer nowadays, but there are a lot of indirect costs related to cancer and a cancer diagnosis. And this $500,000 goes towards little things that help people out, make a big difference in their lives.
Now, the Tri-Cities Cancer Center Foundation is hosting their 25th annual Crushing Cancer Breakfast next Tuesday. You're asked to RSVP and consider making a donation, but it is free to attend. And with that, let's jump right over to meteorologist Jefferson Donovan to talk the weather today. We have that sun really coming back around. Hopefully, I know we were tracking the sunshine expected for today. What are we looking at?
Yeah, unfortunately, it does look like we are going to see more clouds than I was originally anticipating for today, but it's still going to stay dry. Temperatures are still going to be near average. So in general, it should still be a nice day to get outdoors. The only thing it might not be great for is if you are trying to get a tan. Temperatures today will be into the low to mid 60s with that mixture of clouds and sunshine. I still believe we will see sunshine at times, but it's not going to be that brilliant sunshine that I was originally anticipating. I will tell you when we might see mostly sunny skies. I'll also tell you when there might be some showers back to our region. That's coming up.
Thanks, Jefferson.